Macklin Celebrini is rich. As Mario Tirabassi says, let's make it about the Blackhawks. That's next on CHGO Blackhawks. Happy Wednesday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski with Mario Tirabassi, and
Hello.
Chloe Thiel is here running the show. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Do us a favor, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We would appreciate that big time. We've got a big show for you today. This morning, we were out at Blackhawks Ice Center for the Upper Deck Rookie Showcase. Got to chat with Roman Kantserov for the first time. See Roman Kantserov in person for the first time. He is short, but he is stout.
Yeah, seeing the videos of him next to Sacha Boisvert, who is bigger than he was at the end of the season. I was like, you know what? Kantserov does not look that small compared to him. I was expecting to be, as the kids say, size mogged by Boisvert for Kantserov. But, I mean, he looks, I think he'll be completely fine. I think he'll be able to handle playing professional hockey. He's already done it in Russia.
Yes. Did not get any fears seeing him in person. As you mentioned, we talked to Sacha Boisvert as well. Maybe we'll share that if we have time. But we want to start with the big NHL news of the day. Macklin Celebrini signs an extension with the San Jose Sharks, 5 years, $18.8 million AAV. An important note to this deal, Macklin Celebrini was not a free agent until next summer. So as Connor Bedard was an RFA in need of a contract up until last week, Celebrini had all of next season. He could have waited to sign this deal. Instead, the Sharks lock him up 5 years, $18.8 million.
Initial reaction, it's a lot of money.
Yes,
but, man, I mean, he's worth it, right? Like,
I think so, yeah.
You have a 19-year-old kid who just finished the season as a legitimate MVP candidate. What was everything for the San Jose Sharks last year in the run that they made to almost making the playoffs. Every benchmark that there is for a young player that's got the label of generational or whatever you want to put on it, Celebrini's cleared those hurdles. Like, he's absolutely worth this money. He's worth more than that money, honestly. Like, I know The Athletic had their market value, everything. It was like $22.5 million. Like, if Celebrini had signed an extension at the maximum $20.1 million, no one would have batted an eye.
No, I don't think so.
Because that is he to the Sharks is worth that amount of money, and I think he did himself a disservice by a couple weeks ago being like, I don't really care about money. I'm gonna do what I can to help the team, and then goes and takes a big chunk of money, but he's worth it. So I think it's honestly, my initial reaction to the deal was like, that's fair on both sides of the coin. Same as with Bedard. Like, I feel like the team doesn't pay the highest price that they could have, and the player gets more money than they've ever made. Top 5 in the league for both players currently. And they'll, as the player side of things, they'll hit their third contract in the middle of their prime.
Yep.
Which is, from a player perspective, smarter than taking the maximum 8 years and hitting your third contract at 28 or 29 years old. So I think it's a completely fair deal for Celebrini. Yeah, I think the Sharks do have an interesting cap situation coming up because the Celebrini deal comes after you've invested in both Jacob Trouba and Darnell Nurse. You got some business to take care of with Will Smith and eventually Stenberg and Michael Misa. Like that's for those guys to kind of figure it out. But there's no question that you give Celebrini whatever he wanted because that's what he means to that team.
Well, I think we said this after the Bedard and Carlson stuff was going on. Like, this should motivate teams to lock up their RFAs as early as possible. Yes. Do not let it get to the point where they're out of contract. And I think San Jose saw $18 million for Leo Carlson, $15 million for Connor Bedard, and we're like, if we give Macklin Celebrini another year to be Macklin Celebrini, that 21 whatever you mentioned is probably on the low end. Like, you're just looking at 22, 23 million. Like, he's got every argument.
Whatever the max next year would have been.
He's got every argument to become like the highest paid player in hockey. Like, he really does. Like, is he the best player in the league right now? No, you still give that to McDavid, right? Like,
yes,
but he's in the conversation. He's already in the conversation.
He's close, yeah,
of best player in the league. Like, we had this it was this last week, like, who'd you rather have for the next 5 years?
Mm-hmm. And the number one overall picks.
Right, like, of the number one overall picks. And I said, like, I'm still going to go with McDavid, but the fact that I'm considering Celebrini is so. I know it's a huge number. We talk about sticker shock all the time. We had it with Byram. We had it with Bedard, obviously with Leo Carlson. But I think the Sharks should feel pretty good about this, knowing that, look, we know this guy is going to be great. He's already great. There's no question about how good Macklin Celebrini is. There's no flash in the pan. Yeah. This was not like an outlier year. Everything we've seen from him has been spectacular. So get it done as quickly as you can. And while right now he is the highest paid player in hockey, and
going into next year,
into next year, right? But like, they're saving money on this. There's no doubt about it. Had they waited until next year, that number is $3 million, $4 million more at least. Get it done. Yeah. It's handled. You don't have to worry about it for 6 more years. I think it's a good deal. And I know we have this like kind of soft, like a Cold War rivalry going on with the San Jose Sharks because of all the comparisons made. But I know a lot of people are like, this is a stupid deal. No, it's not. No, it's not. At no point will the San Jose Sharks look at the Celebrini deal and say they regret it. No,
they won't regret the Celebrini deal. No. Like I said, they might regret some of the moves they made prior to.
That's a different conversation.
But that's a different that's a different point of it. I think make it about the Blackhawks when it comes to the Sharks. You just have so much parallel between the two teams because of the rebuilds and players that you're getting, and you always are just for a few years you were picking right there with them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like all in the lottery. And I think there's just that factor of it's like, okay, well, these are two teams that you expect to, once they are both fully formed, are going to be going at each other in the Western Conference. And I think if you go online today, I wouldn't call it a Cold War between the Sharks and Blackhawks fan bases. I think things have heated up over this contract because I think they're from an outside perspective, when Bedard signed, there was like this sentiment of, he's taking too much, or he's getting walked right to free agency at 26 so he can go to the Canucks and all this stuff.
Yeah, everybody wants to go to Canucks.
I mean, you're getting the same things said about Celebrini today. I was just like, he's walking to free agency at 26 and he's going to, all this stuff. And like, I think there's a lot of that, of just like, if you're going to say things about Bedard and the contract that he got, which is, again, comparative, fair on both sides to Celebrini, then you're going to get people from the Hawks saying the same things about Celebrini. And like I said, I think he put his foot in his mouth by kind of putting it out there. It's just like, I don't really care about them, because I think Bedard never really went as far as saying like, I don't care how much money I make, and when I do, it's going to be something that helps the team. I think he just kind of like left it as a neutral like party line. When it gets done, it gets done. But with Celebrini kind of going like, oh, I'm going to give them a discount or be team friendly or whatever it was. I think Pat Brisson probably gave him a phone call and said, "What the?
Yeah, shut up.
What
dude.
are you talking about, kid?"
Yeah, well, I think we had a conversation today at the Upper Deck Rookie Showcase with NHLPA reps Marty Walsh and Ron Hainsey, I didn't really. We were there for Kantserov and Boisvert, and I'm like, should we film this? So I just filmed it on my phone, so we're going to see if we can get the sound right and maybe post it on YouTube. But it was really interesting, and I brought up the question to them, like, this new era of, like, player empowerment, right? Like, guys realizing their value, kind of flexing their muscle more than we ever seen before. And it was interesting that Ron Hainsey especially sort of pushed back at that. He's like, well, we've got our real star players, like, with no movement clauses or no trade clauses, like. But he's like, there's a lot of guys in the league, though, that have those things that got waived and then ended up on teams they didn't want to. So he's like, there is a balance to it. Mm-hmm. But there has been this shift where business has been good, so salaries have gone up. And I think the NHLPA, especially under the leadership of Marty Walsh and Ron Hainsey and others, Kyle Oposo was there today too, like, have taught these players, like, you do not necessarily owe the team that drafted you your life.
Right.
Like, you do not have to sign up for the maximum extension as soon as it's available just because you were drafted.
For the full 8 years.
Yeah, and while it's scary for Hawks fans and Sharks fans to look for Bedard 5 years from now, Celebrini 6 years from now, them hitting UFA and potentially leaving, that's scary. It is ultimately good for the game and good for the players, good for the guys who you pay to see and you watch on TV. Those are the ones you want to be empowered. You don't want necessarily the GMs and the owners to be the ones with all the power. You want the players to have power. Yeah. And I'm happy that these guys are doing this. I'm happy to, would I have liked Connor Bedard signed for an 8-year deal? 100%. I would like to not have to worry about this, but I think ultimately for the health of the game and for the goodness of the guys who truly generate the money for the league, this is a good thing. And look, Celebrini and Bedard are going to hit free agency, and the thing I like about it, especially as we make it about the Blackhawks, is it puts a little urgency now on Kyle Davidson to get the Hawks within the next 5 years as a team with a legitimate chance to compete for a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
That is what Connor Bedard wants. And 8 years is more time, but it's certainly, 8 years? That's a lifetime. When you really feel about 5 years, Connor Bedard's entering year 4 of his career already.
Right.
That's crazy. Already? We're already at year 4? Mm-hmm. Think of how quickly that went. Now, Davidson's got to have this, a little more urgency to get this done. So Bedard, as he said last week, there was no amount of money that would have prevented me from being a Chicago Blackhawk. That was worth it for me to not be a Blackhawk. Yeah. Hopefully he feels the same exact way in 5 years and signs a $25 million extension or whatever it's going to be then. Mm-hmm. Probably more than that even. Who knows? You know what I mean? But it's ultimately it's a good thing for the game, as scary as it is for fans. Like I'm happy for Celebrini. I'm happy for Bedard. But in the Sharks angle though, I think they do have to be pretty happy to feel that they got out the door with Celebrini for under 20.
Well, the comment in the chat from Spunky, if you scroll back up there, Chloe, a little bit, says the 2028-29 will be very interesting for the Sharks. They need to extend Will Smith, who's also available for an extension right now, like Celebrini was, but by next summer, they'll need to extend Will Smith. They'll also need a new deal for Michael Misa, Sam Dickinson, Yaroslav Askarov, Igor Chernyshov, potentially also Quentin Musty's in there. And they also, as Spunky points out, will still have both Darnell Nurse and Jacob Trouba on the books. Now, the cap is going up pretty significantly.
It's going up, $9 million next year?
It's going to
$13 million.
113 and a half, I think it is, projected to be. Like, the cap is significantly going up, but if you're the Sharks, as we've kind of talked about from the Blackhawks side of things, all the guys that they would need to give contracts for. If you're the Sharks, you're hoping all of these guys maximize their potential, which would allow them to make as much money as possible. But if you're doing that with, again, the Nurse and Trouba contracts, which are combined, I think, the same amount of money as Celebrini just signed for.
$17,500,000 between the two.
Pretty close. Okay. Like, that's that's not nothing. So I think that's going to be something for them that'll be very interesting to see how they navigate the next extensions after, which I think for the Hawks, like you've already got Knight extension done. You've got Nazar's extension done. Like you eventually will need to figure out Levshinov and Renzel. You'll have to do that with Byram on the books, but I'm more confident in Byram's contributions at 12.5 than I am Nurse and Trouba at 17.5 combined. Yeah. And then, in the same time frame, you'll have a Kantserov extension. You'll have a Frondell extension. We'll see what Oliver Moore and Nick Lardis and those guys are also part of that puzzle. But in the case of the Blackhawks, Bedard versus Celebrini, they have $3.8 million more on their books to work with than the Sharks do.
I look at the free agent picture. We know right now Korchinski and Del Mastro still need deals for this year. Next year, 2027-28, Bertuzzi is a UFA. No, sorry, Tavo's a UFA. Greenway's a UFA. Mangiapane is a UFA. So maybe you're 0 for 3 on bringing those guys back, which is probably fine in most people's eyes. Green and Moore are RFAs. Slaggert's an RFA. Kaiser's an RFA. Levshinov's an RFA. Renzel's an RFA. I mean,
Kaiser's contract's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and
he's already, like when he signed that like 1 and change extension.
Yeah,
last year
1.7.
He well overplayed that already.
Yes, he did.
So that'll be interesting. But yes,
so that's the question now is like, I'm sure priority number 1 for Davidson now is Korchinski and Del Mastro.
Well, yeah, you got to get it.
But
done.
like, how do you prioritize the remaining RFAs? Why don't we talk about that next? We're going to hit the break zone for the first time. While we do that, you hit the like button. Back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi, and what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That is the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine having Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. It's super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense, and that lets you stream the game even when the whole family is online. All your devices working together in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And the best part, there's no annual contracts, there are no hidden fees, and you'll get Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from us, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. So lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more about the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Select plans only, and restrictions do apply.
Macklin Celebrini is going to the bank.
He is.
Very soon. Is he going to Old National Bank?
He better be.
We don't
or he's
know.
Stupid.
He could. Can't confirm nor deny. But whether it's on the field or in your financial life, the best teams win by delivering excellence at every level. And at Old National Bank, they believe that every play matters. From everyday checking to long-term planning and commercial banking, their team is there to build momentum and help you move the ball forward. It all starts with a plan tailored for you by professionals that you trust. From simple tasks to bigger financial moments, you can count on Old National Bank to coordinate your needs with steady, knowledgeable guidance that brings clarity and confidence to each step. It's a partnership designed to help you feel supported, not just today, but well into the future. So whether you're celebrating a win, rebuilding after a tough loss, or gearing up for whatever comes next, Old National Bank has your back with tools, insights, and an expert crew that's always in your corner. Old National Bank, member FDIC, where relationships and results matter.
All right, we're back on CHGO Blackhawks. Let's get some super chats in here before we move on to the next conversation about RFAs. ND226 says Sharks fan base is one of the most delusional fan bases I've ever seen. I will say this.
We all are.
We all are, yes. I think that's true. I also think, though, when you've got a guy like Celebrini, it very much feeds that.
Dude, if Bedard last year never gets hurt and puts up 120 points or whatever pace he was on, we'd all be as fired up about him as the Sharks are for Celebrini, and we'd be justified. And we are justified for how fired up we are for Connor Bedard already.
Yes. Lichtsa, I don't know, says, I think the major difference is that Celebrini has 2 seasons and Olympics worth of proof that he's worth $18.8 million, while Bedard has roughly 3 months worth of proof he's worth $15 million.
Come on.
I mean, that's kind of... Okay.
I think
You need, there's Google context and then go through some of these stat sites and look up line mates, line quality of a teammate, those sort of things.
Yeah, I don't think you look at what Bedard has done in the NHL and say he's not worth the contract and the expectation that he will live up to it over just what he did at the beginning of last season. Like his rookie year, the year before, and last year is, as you said, with the quality of team that's been
Philip
around
Kurashev,
him.
Ryan Donato.
Yes, he's gotten both of those guys' career years.
Yeah.
Like that's I appreciate the super chat.
Well, just as
but
we,
I just feel like saying he's only been a good player for 3 months is that's come on.
Yep. All right, and Madhouse Meek $5 says, "Oh man, just waiting for the comparisons from the chat this season. Lol. I guess it's good to show chat how to talk professional about them pinned up together." I think it's about comparing Bedard and Celebrini.
Yeah, I can't wait for now the comparisons to start.
Those will finally start. Look, it's okay. Look, I think it's totally fine for us to admit that Macklin Celebrini right now is a better player than Connor Bedard. I don't think there's an argument about that. There's not. He's been healthier. He's been better. Yeah. Like it just is what it is. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't still be excited about Connor Bedard, right? Like
right.
Just because
ask Penguins and Capitals fans how they've felt about Ovechkin and Crosby over the lengths of their careers and how they were always compared against each other. Like
two very different players, both great.
Yeah, and yeah, I feel like not to say that Celebrini and Bedard are going to be exactly the same. Maybe they are. Who knows? But I just feel like when you have two players of that caliber that end up, running parallel and how many times did Crosby and Ovechkin run into each other in the playoffs, and I hope that happens for Bedard and Celebrini and the Sharks and the Hawks for many years to come. But like you can see that both players, as it played out, were completely worth the hype and the money and everything. And I feel like Bedard and Celebrini are headed down similar paths of like they're going to be compared. Both number one picks, both cornerstones of their franchises, and both guys that are going to be tasked with taking their teams to the top and have the capabilities of doing it. So, and I'm sure the Penguins are very happy with how Sidney Crosby's career went and how the Capitals same with Alex Ovechkin.
All right, now let's move on to the RFAs, and we're going to make this Taking the Temp presented by our friends at Four Seasons, your trusted local experts for heating, air conditioning, plumbing, sewer, and electric. They've been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. So the RFAs I mentioned, aside from Del Mastro and Korchinski that need deals right now, next year you're looking at Green, Moore, Slaggert, Kaiser, Levshinov, Rinzel. Which of these are you confident locking up right now, if possible?
To extend right now?
Yeah. Like maybe a better way to frame it. Is there anyone you're ready to give the Frank Nazar treatment to? And say, we're going to get ahead of this. We're going to pay you a big number right now, betting on your future. And already, Frank Nazar making $6.599991 every year is one of the better contracts in hockey already. Is there anyone you're willing to do that for today when you look at Green, Moore, Levshinov, Kaiser, Rinzel?
I think right now you could definitely save yourself a couple of bucks by getting Kaiser extended. Because I think we all know, or we have an understanding that like Levshinov and Rinzel, should they play well this year, are going to get pretty decent extensions. And I hope they play up to deserving that. But I just feel like with Kaiser, how he played last year, just the steps he took, like I'm not saying you got to give him like Nazar like 6 and change. But if you say like, okay, let's do 4 years or something like that, and you can maybe keep that dollar amount down a little bit, he's an important piece of that defensive group.
Yeah.
Even though he's not maybe the most high profile, like he is very important. And I think if you were able to get a deal done with him before this season, before he has maybe another year like last year or better at the contract value he's at right now, where he way overperforms it, you could save yourself a little bit of money. That would be one that I would say is worth, like the proof of the extension is worth it the most right there out of all those guys, but not that would end up being the highest number.
Sure. So on cap wages, they have the AFP analytics about next deal projections, and what AFP says is a 5-year deal for 5.6 and change, or a 2-year deal at basically 3.7 million.
I don't think he would. I don't think from his perspective he would want to do another 2-year deal. I think if he's getting a new extension, he'd probably want a few extra years.
I'd be comfortable with 5 by 5.6. The question is, do the Hawks believe in Wyatt Kaiser the way we do? And the fact that they, and in fairness, before last year, when they got to the opening day of training camp, that deal, we were all kind of like, why is Wyatt Kaiser holding out? Like, what has he really shown? Mm-hmm. They get the deal done. It's 1.7, probably less than Kaiser wanted, but it's kind of a prove it deal. And
he proved it last year.
He absolutely did. But I don't know if, like, do the Hawks see him as a guy who's going to be here in 5 years? I do, but I don't know if they do. So
probably,
do you give him another short-term deal and get him to UFA and figure it out? I don't feel like Wyatt Kaiser is ever going to be the kind of a guy who, like, you're going to have to say, we have to walk away, he's just too expensive. Like, I don't think he'll ever be like a bank-breaking type of defenseman just because of what kind of game he plays.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, you have Vlasic, you have Byram, you expect Renzel and Levshinov in the defensive mix as well. You have question marks about Korchinski, Del Mastro.
Multiple, yeah. I mean, like exclamation question marks.
Then basically the next guy in line is Villeneuve, who's years away from playing in the NHL anyways.
Right.
So, like, I don't know. I feel like your defensive group, you kind of have 5 of them with Kaiser, Vlasic, Byram, Levshinov, Renzel, right? Counting right? Yes. So without really looking at, the pipeline and, having this overabundance of defensemen like we used to kind of think about, like, things have thinned a little bit. And I think in doing that, you're finding out more of who's worth it at the NHL level. I think Kaiser is. But maybe he ends up being one of those guys that's just like, I don't want to say replaceable, but like you could save money on maybe not giving him that 5 by 5 and change, and you get the contributions from that he brought from someone else, either in a trade or free agency, at a lower cost. I guess it's technically replaceable, but like maybe he's in that camp. I just think if he does again what he did last year, this year, the price tag could go up more than you're expecting. And someone pointed out that he's also ARB eligible next year. I think if he does what he did last year again, you want to avoid arbitration because his number is probably going to be much higher than they want to go. And then maybe the meat in the middle is still higher than they want to go.
I don't know. I mean, arbitrators don't really look at, like, I think we might value Wyatt Kaiser more than the league does. And I think we value him because we're close to it and we see what he actually does on a game-to-game basis. And you know what I mean? Like, Wyatt Kaiser is not yet a household name. Don't know if he'll ever be.
He was on the World Championships team. Like, that's not nothing.
No, I know. I don't know what his argument would be in front of an arbitrator and saying, like, I deserve a lot of money because of X. Like, I'm just good at everything. But what are you great at, right? And like, the question I have about Kaiser, too, is I love the way he played last year. Maybe you could argue the Hawks' most consistent defenseman all year.
Right.
But how much more is there in Wyatt Kaiser's game? And I don't mean that as I don't think there is. I just don't know. I don't know. Is there another step for Wyatt Kaiser to take in the NHL? Or is he going to be a really good second, third pair guy who you can put out there for 20 minutes, trust to not screw you, make some nice plays, you know what I mean? Like, play smart, make good decisions.
I mean, that's valuable.
Of course. But I think there's also a lot of guys who have made, like Ian Cole is a really good example of a guy who's, what is he, 38 years old, 37 years old, and just signed a $4 million deal because he does just that. He's physical, he's reliable, he plays it safe, he's done it his whole career, so teams can sign him and know that, but he's never made a crap ton of money. Sure. Like Ian Cole's is this his biggest contract? No, his last contract was, let's see, he made 4.25 with the Avs, and that was 2.9 with Carolina, 3 with Tampa, 3 with Vancouver, 3.1 with Utah, 2.8 with Utah, and now 4 with the Hawks. So that's a nice little career of short-term deals, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 3 years, 3 years, 2 years, right? Because he's a guy that is good, you know you can count on him, but he's also not irreplaceable. And when you look at Byram here for the, for the long-term future, Vlasic here for the long-term future, that means Wyatt Kaiser's, by definition, your third pair lefty. Because I don't think he's going to hurdle Vlasic or Byram.
Yeah, if Byram stays on the left side.
Yeah, but
if he doesn't play as offhand on the right.
But he said in his, when he was here for workouts, he basically said, like, I can do both, but I prefer the left. I'm more comfortable on the left. And I think if you're investing,
we saw Kaiser play on the right.
Yeah, and Ian Cole plays on the right too.
Yeah, they've been able to do it.
Versatility. Mm-hmm. Dependability, versatility will get you a lot of deals for a long time. Yeah. All right, let's hit the break zone. I want to talk about some of the other RFAs as well. That's next on CHGO Blackhawks. Summer heat is here, and your AC has been working harder than ever. Don't wait for it to break down. Call Four Seasons today and schedule a complete AC tune-up for just $89.95. Their expert technicians are available 24/7 for emergency service with no additional charges for nights, weekends, or holidays, and there has been a lot of emergency service lately.
Yeah.
Whether your AC stops working, you have a clogged drain, or you need an extra electrical outlet installed, Four Seasons has you covered, and if your AC breaks down after your tune-up, there's no additional charge to have it fixed. Now is also the perfect time to upgrade during Four Seasons Summer Savings Event. Take advantage of 72 months of interest-free financing, up to $4,000 in rebates, and same-day installation at no extra cost. Plus, Four Seasons will beat any competitor's offer by $1,000 guaranteed. Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com.
New vehicles are in store at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and this is your chance to score a great deal at the Make This the Summer event. Head to Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams models. And right now, get up to $23,000 off MSRP on new 2026 Ram 1500 models or 0% financing for over 60 months on new models. Plus, you can shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000 with the friendly team of brand experts. The team at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram is there to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. And since they prioritize affordability, you know you won't overpay for the vehicle you need. And Ray's price promise allows you to shop confidently with no add-ons and no hidden fees ever. Don't miss out on the Make This the Summer event for huge savings on the Ram 1500 or 0% financing on new models. For more information, visit Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963.
All right, we just got over 100 likes. We appreciate that, but it doesn't mean you can stop. Hit that like button for us and be sure to subscribe. All right, other RFAs. I'm looking at these AFP projections we mentioned. Artem Levshinov projects 6 by 6.185. or 3 by 3.043. Sam Renzel projects a 6 by 5.9 or 2 by 2.7. Are you comfortable giving either of those guys the 6 years?
Renzel's 6-year
by 5.9
projection at 5.9 could be really nice. I think I would do that over Levshunov just based off of kind of what we've seen. But I wouldn't. I also wouldn't hate if they just bridge both guys. We'll have to see how they play this year, honestly. Like neither of those guys I would commit massive money to at this stage. I'd like to see them do a little bit more this year. So and again, I think that's why I feel like out of the group that you mentioned, like I feel most confident that Kaiser has at least put enough tape down that you would say we're confident in what he is. Even though the ceiling is not as high as Levshunov or Frondell, at least you have a little bit more confidence in what he is than those two. I think out of those two right now, I would give the longer extension, that's 6 by 5.9 to Frondell than Levshunov, but I still feel like Levshunov's ceiling is higher, but that only counts for so much.
Yeah, and I wonder, I mean, the bigger question is who's Kyle Davidson comfortable giving these to?
Right.
And, while they, on the record, will profess faith in all these guys,
right? Yeah,
I'm sure behind the scenes there's a little bit of itchiness about Levshunov's first, 80-plus games or whatever it is. And they probably wanted to see a little bit more from him. And this offseason's huge. This upcoming season is huge. Mm-hmm. So maybe they just hope that this year is a turnaround. And they're happy to say, oh, okay, fine, bullet dodge. He's not going to be not a wasted pick, but not worth where we took him. But yeah, I think if I'm doing one of those today, I would probably lean towards Frondell too. Just because I just feel like what he's got is more projectable. And like you said, Levshunov higher ceiling, but I'm more confident that if I was to give Sam Frondell right now 6 by 6 basically,
yeah,
that he'll be worth $6 million for that whole contract. Mm-hmm. If Levshunov is not worth $6 million for the next 6 years, we've got a big problem.
Yeah, I think relative to where he was picked and what you expected out of him, that'd be the bigger problem. But I think too, like you could also say none of these guys. You don't need to do any of this business right now.
Well, the fear would be that someone pops off for a huge year, but
cross that bridge when you need. I don't.
At least a defenseman, I don't see. I don't.
Yeah, I hope they do. I hope more of these players have seasons that make you think, okay, like we need to start thinking about, well, not start thinking about, but you have to really consider every dollar, every penny that you're spending because all these guys are starting to become worth all this money.
Yeah.
That means you have a good team. So I hope they start having these problems.
That would be a great one to have. Let's look at the forwards too here. If we were to sign Ryan Green or Oliver Moore today, Green would be 3 by 3.
Fair.
And change. Moore would be 2 by 2.7.
Fair.
Yeah, I would
do both of those.
I'd jump
deals.
on those. Sure.
I would do both those deals.
I would try to maybe give a little more money and more term for both of them. I really liked Ryan Green last year. He's everything you like about Wyatt Kaiser. I feel like Ryan Green is the forward version of Wyatt Kaiser. He kind of does everything well, nothing great. He's got probably a little more skill than he gets credit for. Like there were a few moments last year where we're like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like
he made some moves.
Really nice moves. Yeah. He hit the post several times last year. But I just liked his game, and the fact that he was able to stay on that top line with Bedard for most of the year shows you, like we talk about Burakovsky too, and that kind of invalidates this thought, I guess. But like the fact that you put a 21-year-old kid playing all season with Connor Bedard, like that's encouraging.
Yeah. I feel like Green and Moore are those guys that feel like they're going to be a bit of the Swiss Army knife type of player, and that's valuable to have a guy that you can play on the top line or on the fourth line or play on the power play and or the penalty kill, and they can be serviceable in all those roles. That's valuable. Yeah. Those deals, 3 by 3 and 2 by 2.5.
That's a no-brainer.
I would for sure do those deals.
Yeah.
But again, like Oliver Moore had half an NHL season last year, or 50 some games, 2/3 of an NHL season last year. Ryan Green played the whole year up in Chicago, which let's not forget, he was going to Rockford. On his way to Rockford, and then Landon Slaggert got sick, so they were like, "Okay, no, we need you back." Put him in the lineup, and he never came out of it.
Didn't they scratch him for one game? Like things are going too fast for him. He played 81.
Something like that. Yeah, he had
it was right before the break.
It was like one game off. Yeah,
so weird.
So yeah, I think he's going to be a guy that it'd be interesting to see how they use him this year. As we had the conversation about like what the Blackhawks lineups could look like. I had him again with Bedard to start the year just because I feel like you could do that and with Kane and Frondell and Kantserov and Bertuzzi, like really balance out everything. And you've seen him play with Bedard before, and maybe there's higher ceiling options to try, but I don't think he's out of the conversation to potentially play with Connor Bedard or play in an elevated role and be able to be a guy that, like, you don't count on him scoring 30 goals or anything like that, but he can be someone that plays at both ends, that goes and gets pucks, that, you know, sees the game similarly to some of these top guys, and that's sometimes half the battle for players is your head for hockey, not only your physical skills.
Yeah, I had no expectation of Ryan Green last year. Not that I thought he was bad, but it just really felt like go down to Rockford, play in the middle six, be called up for an emergency, and then that'll pretty much be his NHL career. Maybe he's got a year where he plays a whole season just because he, hits his prime. I don't see him, and I think Jeff Fleischer looks at it too as like Ryan Green's an NHL player. He's going to be here every game. Yeah. I mean, 29 points in 81 games last year, like that's solid
for a rookie, not bad.
All right, do we want to hear from Roman Kantserov?
Yeah, the guy who's going to be Rookie of the Year next year?
Yeah, why not? He was at the Upper Deck Rookie Showcase with the NHLPA today at Blackhawks Ice Center. Here is what young Roman Kantserov had to say. Our first time seeing him in person, and he is jacked. Here he is.
I was very excited. Thanks for the organization. I signed it. I'm right now waiting the season. I just practice under New York. But right now I'm here, just a couple days, maybe have a time going in the Chicago room, in Blackhawks room, talking with the staff, with the coaches, and continue to work, come back and keep going.
Kyle Davidson told us early this month that they pictured you playing with Connor Bedard. He's hurt right now, obviously, but when you hear that, whether it's, September or November, I mean, what would it be like for you to play?
If you know, right now Connor is had the injury. It's sad news, but we are Chicago signed the Patrick Kane. The legend is come back. It's awesome. And I'm waiting to maybe practice with him, talking with him because he has a big experience. He's greatest American player, all-time scorer, and it's a very good opportunity to just play with him. And of course, if we play together with Bedard, maybe we can find how's the chemistry. In Russia it's like named like that. He has a great shot, right hand shot. I can play on the winger, and also in last year I play like center forward. Maybe I have a choice. I can play like a winger or like a center forward. How head coach say, I need play.
Touched on Patrick Kane a little bit. Potentially being with him in the absence of Connor Bedard. Just thoughts on that. Looking forward to it. Have you talked with him at all?
Me? Not yet. Just not talking with Kane, or I just only text to Bedard. Just faster recovery. We need you, and that's enough. Not yet.
So you're with Spencer Knight in Connecticut. Have you spent much time with him?
We practice together in one camp, but we have a different schedule. We're going on dinner together. He's a good guy. He helping me. We just talking, and he say Chicago is a great city, great fans, great organization, and I see this right now. It's awesome. I repeat, I excited. I waiting the season. Yeah, and I appreciate it. I will explain this.
How long do you plan on being in town right now?
Where?
In Chicago.
In Chicago, I arrived yesterday. My flight from New York was delayed, for the weather. I'm coming, and tomorrow I go back in New York.
So are you in New York? Are you in the United States for the rest of the time being then?
I'm
training camp?
in training camp in Stanford in Connecticut. Yeah, training camp with the other NHL players, Russian group guys, the Rangers group guys, and yeah, we practice, train, and in September or last day of August, I coming here. Yeah.
Kyle was saying that he's impressed by how much you've improved your English over the past couple of years. What have you done to learn more English?
I like watching the movies, YouTube, NHL highlights, and also in Russia we have couple import guys. Yeah, talking with the boys, and they say also Roma learn English. It's help to you, and I think right now English is not bad, but I need learning.
It sounds good to me.
What movies are you watching to learn English?
When I was a kid, I liked watching the Transformers or Spider-Man. I know these movies, and I just right now watching in original on English and just repeat remember the words, and right now just learning listen the music, right now in the US. I coming in the United States June 26 and 1 month. I walking around the New York, around the Stanford, and go to buy coffee or go to shop. Of course, I listen how everyone they say only English, and I learning.
How excited are you for training camp?
There or
Here.
Yeah, I'm excited. I waiting. Interesting. Because in this season, pre-season is shorter, season is longer on couple games, and of course, I think right now everyone focus in Chicago. We need go in post-season. I think we can do this. We'll see.
How do you think the adjustment to the NHL will be for you? Like, what are the biggest things you're working on to try to adjust as quickly as possible?
You mean quickly for the play in NHL?
Yes, yeah.
I just practice with people who play in NHL, train together, and also, of course, you need to improve my skills, improve my thinking. I need to think smarter and faster, because here is absolutely different level. And yeah, I think it should be hard, but it's not impossible. I think I can do this.
All right, that's Roman Kantserov from this morning, and talking about how working on his English. Like, I don't know where the baseline was for him, but clearly he's put in a ton of work. It's interesting that he's just
from
like
zero English to that is pretty good.
Just like immersing himself in American culture and music and movie. And I don't know if it came through well on the interview, but he basically said, like, I watched Spider-Man and Transformers in Russian, so then I started watching him in English, so I knew like the plot lines and what the words were.
Yeah.
So I learned them. Oh, okay. So this in Russian is now this in English. I also think we were talking about this at lunch. Like, I think it's easier to come to the United States because English is sort of like secondary in every country. So you're sort of like surrounded by it all the time.
More
Whereas
universal.
if we were to go to Russia, we'd be completely like, what, out of our league.
So.
But like, it's almost like Spanish here. You see enough of it where you can figure out the basics and
Pick
then
up a little bit. Yeah.
Pick up just from existing in a city like Chicago.
Yeah.
But yeah, he sounds great. Like, answered questions well, was really confident and loose, and it's good to see. I of all the players, I'm excited to watch this summer at camp and in preseason. It's definitely him.
See him in person and see what it's all about. Yeah, that's probably gonna be the guy that's the most noteworthy and the guy that could have the biggest impact as far as, like, you know, outside of like Kane and Byram, like the guy that could have the biggest impact on this team this year, that's not Connor Bedard, is Roman Kantserov. Like as far as like additions that you weren't expecting to have from last year or didn't have last year, like he's a guy that really could fit that mold.
Like if you're looking for this team to like overachieve, he's going to be, I think
his contribution,
Frondell and Levshinov are like the three that would need to like take not that Frondell needs a jump, but if Frondell can be 9 points every 12 games like he was last year, continue that pace, great. But you need to step from Levshinov, and if Kantserov can come in day one and be like just a stud right away, and when I say stud, I don't mean like point per game, but 25, 50, 60 points, which doesn't seem totally out of the question, then that changes the conversation.
It's not a crazy idea that he could do that. I mean, again, the transition from the KHL to the NHL, there is going to be a learning curve, but he could be somebody that the fact that he's not doing it at 19 years old, like he's had a few years, he's matured a little bit. Like I think that'll make it a little bit easier on him in the transition. So, and it's also good too, like to be over here, be in Chicago, be in New, like just to not have the shock of being like, the training camp is the first time he comes to Chicago and you have to find your way around or get used to communicating with your teammates or anything like that. Like the fact that he's kind of done it a little bit over the summer, that should help once training camp gets here and you actually get down to like, okay, this is what life in the NHL and is going to be like.
Him and a lot of the Russian players, as he mentioned, work out in Stamford, Connecticut. So that's nice for them to be together while also transitioning to the United States together, learning the ropes together. And when we had PD on yesterday, and if you missed it, check it out, talked about like, you've got to look beyond like just the hockey adjustment to coming here. Like the lifestyle adjustment is massive, and it's something that we learned about with Levshinov last year. Yeah. And remember, like when we had Alex Vlasic on a couple of years ago, he talked about like just Lucas Reichel, a young guy, and it wasn't even really so much about being from Germany to here. It was about like, I live on my own now. I have to take out my garbage. I have to pay my phone bill. I have to, like, all those sort of things that every young player has to deal with. Now multiply it by 2 because I have a Russian cell phone. Now I have to go to whatever cell phone company and
Russian
move
cell
my
phone
stuff
company
over, and like there's so much to it.
Yeah.
And I hope that the Hawks is an Original Six franchise, one of the most valuable in hockey. We know they've got a huge front office, one of the biggest analytics departments in the world. I hope that they've got resources too for these guys to, hey, like if you need like a life coach to get you transitioned here, like to get all the help they need. And like just talking to Sacha Boisvert, if you want to see that, we put on Twitter and on YouTube, like talked about like just playing here for a short amount of time at the end of the year last year. He's come away with dietary stuff and lifestyle stuff, and like he said his mom's with him helping him cook and like get meals prepared to like all those sort of things that when you're at college or you're in junior or you're in Russia, whatever, it's either done for you. Like if you're at Boston University, like Sacha Boisvert, team meals probably every day, right? Like everything is done for you. Everything's kind of automatic. It's a big adjustment to have to come here as a young guy and make these adjustments, especially if you're coming from Russia.
Well, and that's why they, with the prospect camp for a few years, it was focused on just doing off ice things, and a lot of it is geared towards like, here's a cooking class, and here's like some easy things that you can do to make chicken and like cook pasta, like super easy things that you can just like, here's how you be an adult. For some of these guys that haven't, like you said, like haven't really done things for themselves all that much. The basic life skills that like once you get out of junior in college, you don't have your billet family, like you got to figure out how to do it on your own. And some of these guys have all done it together. Like, Sam Renzel and Oliver Moore have been roommates in college and have been roommates as professionals. Like being able to go through Rockford together and then come up to the NHL. Like guys have done that. Like it's, they they have that, I feel like, amongst the young players, and then, you know, some of the veterans being able to kind of help guys too. Like, they have that feel of like the team has that communal feel where I really probably would guess that no one's feeling like they have to transition to being an NHL player and feel isolated in doing it. Like, they have a group that's going to help them, which is good. That's that off ice, having that feeling.
Make it as easy as you can.
That will translate to on ice too. As easy as you can make life off the ice, then you can just get to playing hockey, and hockey is hockey. Put that on a shirt.
I like that. Hockey is hockey.
Yeah.
Sell it. We're due for a new shirt.
Speaking of merch, I had a conversation about merch.
You
Merch is available in merch, and things are happening with merch.
They are? Gonna tell your teammates? Or
From what
just be like a me guy?
From what I heard, it's just me. Inside sources.
All right. Cool. Sounds fun. We should talk a little bit about Sacha Boisvert today, by the way, too, because if we skip, which we can't, his down year at BU, and you're starting to project his NHL arrival from when he was drafted, it'd be about now. And, you know, this would be the year, had he had a normal or expected season at BU, I think a lot of people would be penciling him in for a spot on the Blackhawks this year. We got a small glimpse of him last year. I think the understanding is he'll start in Rockford and work his way up here maybe next year full-time or at the end of the year if they end up selling at the deadline again. But I wonder if this off-season of getting significantly bigger, significantly stronger from Boisvert, and if he comes out and has a strong camp, is there a percentage chance that he makes his team? I think it's really low. But maybe he's this year's Ryan Green, like I don't want anyone to get hurt.
Right.
But like,
I don't feel like it's very likely that he surpasses players that you would say are like fourth line, third line guys. You know, you just brought in Cole Smith and
kind
gave
of a lot
him
of
3
those,
years. Yeah. You have Greenway, you have Donato, you have Slager, you have Mangiapane, like Table, Lardis, Green, more. Like, I don't see him leapfrogging enough of those guys to be there. He's probably best served going to Rockford and playing top six and having those responsibilities and getting those minutes and those reps. Like, that's probably how he's going to be better served. But it is great to see how he's kind of, even just at the end of last year to what will be training camp, like he's gotten bigger, he's put on weight, like he's going to be able to handle professional hockey even better than he would have been physically capable of doing it even just a little bit ago. And like, that's kind of going to be his path to the NHL, is like being a power forward. And sure, he wasn't, built like a tank, but he plays a physical style. We know that he has the willingness to play that way. And now he's added a little bit of that weight, that muscle that I think is only going to continue to develop as he fully matures.
More than anything, I like to see his response to a down year at BU as, I'm just going to get to work. And I'm gonna be noticeable. I'm gonna make people see me for the first time in development camp and go, "Oh my God, look at Sacha Boisvert." That was the reaction that everybody had when they saw him. Yeah. It's like, "Holy cow, he is 15% bigger," or whatever it is. Like, he looks huge and jacked and like ready to go. And I like to see that he's taking all the criticisms he's heard, all the crap that was talked behind his back, and maybe it's warranted. I don't know. I wasn't there covering BU. I don't have a horse in the race. I don't, you know what I mean? I didn't consume every BU game. All I could do is sort of read the reports and read the things that were written about him. But the fact that he took that and said, F that, I'm going to get to work and come into camp in the best shape of my life, that's great. I want to see him top six in Rockford, all situations. And if he has a year in Rockford, it's like really impressive. And he's filling the net with goals and he's Gordie Howe hat tricks every now and again.
Sure.
Like, that's just because I think we're already sort of maybe prematurely dismissing him because of his year at BU. It's like, oh, well, maybe he's just not going to pan out. Maybe he's going to be one of those Kyle Davidson misses that every GM has. But man, step one is answer the bell of a bad season, and he's done that. So really looking forward to seeing him at training camp preseason. I'm assuming he'll play in whatever version of the Tom Curvers thing is happening which we're
Probably,
still unclear on. So we'll see. Lots of good young players, lots of question marks. Boisvert is among them, Kantserov among them, but soon we'll get to watch them. All right, we're going to wrap things up. I am off tomorrow. It'll be Mario and Greg. I'll be back Friday, and I'll be back Monday. But in the meantime, check out the Boisvert interview on YouTube. If you want to listen to Roman Kantserov again, you can do that too. And make sure, if you're a diehard, check out the video from Petey on allchgo.com and in our Discord. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3 on CHGO Blackhawks.